we talk about marriage or anything else regarding family, if we want to change something, then we change it with laws. We don't change it with the Constitution. I will vote ITL on this.
Representative Weber.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree entirely with what Representative Wall said, and I also note that if I read the language of this amendment, it says the state shall only recognize as marriage, whether in name or effect, the union of one man and one woman. I am very concerned about whether the words in name or effect would bar us from ever adopting civil unions as well as marriage. And for that reason, among all the others expressed here, I should vote against them.
For anyone who wishes to speak who has not been recognized for a first time, Representative Silva.
You know, we go around and around this now, Representative Richardson's comment. I think the reason why the people didn't vote you out last time is because they didn't know how we stood. So a small group of people promoted something like this that the large group of people didn't want. So again, it just seems to me, if this is such a receptive thing, why not just let people vote on it? This is a serious change in the way we do things in New Hampshire. I think that's why they're upset.
Representative Nixon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be brief. On June 2, 1784, our forebears established New Hampshire as having a representative form of government, in the sense that the legislature, 400 House members and 24 senators, were to represent their constituents in the sense of voting as they believed were in the best interests of the state. They did not elect and set up a government whereby representatives were obliged or even authorized to just parrot or repeat what the minority of voters wanted, even the loudest and even the most sincere. Edmund Burke was a conservative in Parliament in 1774. He was opposed to England involving itself in our country, and he said on a similar issue confronted Parliament, your representative owes you not his loyalty only, but his judgment, and he betrays instead of serving you if he sacrifices his judgment to your opinion. I think Representative Valancourt, who described himself as a conservative Republican and speaking against
Representative Nixon, please let's not discuss personalities.
Sorry. In any event, he spoke to the issue that really should be involved. If there is a proposal to offer to the voters of New Hampshire an opportunity to amend the Constitution by referendum, then it should be phrased in that way and not directed toward a particular issue. I cannot bring myself, and could never bring myself, to vote against equality of rights. We have again and again established that New Hampshire is a state that recognizes equality of rights. And this proposal, this constitutional amendment proposed, would open the door for that to be denied. And therefore, I will vote in favor of the motion, ITL.
Thank you. Representative O'Brien.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, among the more fallacious arguments that we heard last year in favor of same-sex marriage and appeared today in this executive session of our committee is that somehow we would be repressing minority rights in contravention of our history, tradition, and Constitution. There could be nothing more wrong about that than realizing that laws always differentiate among groups based upon conduct. There is no status here that's immutable that has to be protected, as there is, for example, with race and gender. There is just a desire among some to have their conduct raised to the level of defining a minority and then using the precious language of our Constitution and our civil rights struggle to somehow wrap themselves in a cultural change that's rejected by the people in our state. Let the people vote.
Thank you, Representative O'Brien. Representative Preston.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've always thought of constitutions as being documents which tell us how we govern ourselves. we have two examples of social issues becoming part of constitutions, and they've both been failures. We fought a 4-year civil war to get rid of one of them, and we had the experience with prohibition, which served only to build up organized crime. So I'm opposed to having social issues entwined in the Constitution, and will therefore vote ITL.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Yeah.
Representative Mead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just one quick one. We've heard that we're a nation of laws. We've also heard that we are a constitutional government. And I just want to remind members of this committee, we can pass laws regardless of what the citizens think, because we are the representatives, we vote on the laws, we in fact can make them laws. We cannot change the Constitution without the people. Why would we not want to allow the people of this state to be able to modify the Constitution if they so feel that that's necessary in order to be their will?
Representative Hagan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I suspect that we will not have the votes to pass this constitutional amendment. I will vote in favor of it, and mostly because of the experience of the last decades with Roe versus Wade. This is an issue that people ought to have a right to speak on. And then this political debate done by the voters of New Hampshire will be over, and we can go forward instead of having this fight for the next 30 or 40 years in the legislature. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Representative Rowe.
Yes, our Constitution does describe social issues. Article 5, religious freedom. Article 6, morality and piety. 38, social virtues indicated, and it goes on and on through it. It is not just how we're governed. There are social issues that are expressed in the Constitution.
Any further discussion on the motion of inexpedient to legislate? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Wall?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
Snackle?
Yes.
Preston? Yes. Richardson?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Nixon?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Waters? Yes. Reed?
Yes.
Rowe?
No.
Elliott?
No.
DeFrucia?
Yes.
Mead?
No.
O'Brien?
No.
Hagan?
No.
Perkins?
No.
Silva?
No.
Smith?
No.
Cody?
Yes.
That should be
12 to 8.
8 to 12.
The bill will appear on the regular calendar.
There'll be a minority.
I was assuming. I'll open the executive session on House Bill 1590. Is there a motion? Representative Thompson.
Thank you, Chairman.
Excuse me, one moment. Yes? You did. Okay, Representative Thompson, I beg your pardon.
Thank you, Chairman. I make a motion to ITL House Bill 1590 FN.
Representative Thompson has moved House Bill 1590 be recommended inexpedient for legislation. Is there a second? Seconded by Representative Hackler. Representative Thompson, you're recognized to speak to your motion.
Thank you, Chairman. This bill takes away rights granted by this legislature last year. We already have loving, committed couples married in New Hampshire. There has been no detrimental impact. This bill also violates several articles of our Constitution. Retrospective laws are prohibited. Some would say that those who are married would remain married, but no new couples could marry. With the effective date of this bill, January 1st, 2010, no marriages have happened. This bill is flawed, unjust, and takes rights away, pure and simple. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Representative Elliott.
Thank you.
I believe seconded by